First and foremost, I'd like to give a huge thanks to you/LightningsTar95 for inspiring me to make this video, along with all the other users on Reddit that have allowed me to use their content. Anywho, onto the video. So you're thinking of getting a Panther, eh? Good choice. Today I thought I'd go over some of the pros and cons of ownerships and detail some of the things you may want to be aware of before you pick which Panther you want to purchase. I will be focusing on the newer Panthers from about 1998 to 2011. There will also be a table of contents on screen now, so you can skip to whatever part you need. First, what is a Panther? When people refer to Panther cars, they're usually referring to Ford Crown Victorias, Lincoln Town Cars, Mercury Grand Marquis, and Mercury Marauders. The term Panther came from the internal name of the platform the cars were built on. The Panther platform was introduced for the 1971 model year and was retired for the 2011 model year. While it was used in many different Ford cars, when people refer to a Panther, they are most certainly referring to the aforementioned cars. And that is what this video will focus on. Second, pros of Panther ownership. 1. The size. If you are looking for a large vehicle without having to pay large vehicle prices, you may want to consider a Panther. With 6 seatbelts and a trunk to hold another 5 people, Panthers have no problem hauling whatever you need hauled. 2. Maintenance. These cars are known for being absolutely bulletproof as long as they're maintained. I personally have seen some of these cars on sale in the classifieds with upwards of 700,000 kilometers on them. Any maintenance that is needed as well usually is cost effective, and can be done yourself with common hand tools. With these cars being used in law enforcement, many of them end up in junkyards where parts can be found for dirt cheap. 3. The cool factor. Since these cars were used mainly as police cars, the attention they garner, because of their day job, can be quite funny. I had a police interceptor as my first car, and boy oh boy was I the talk of the town while I had it. Third, cons of Panther ownership. 1. Size. While size can be a helper, it can also be a hindrance. City driving can be tricky sometimes, especially if you're used to a smaller car. But once you get used to the size, it becomes a non-issue. 2. Fuel economy. The fact of the matter is that these cars are big, heavy V8s, and therefore consume quite a bit of fuel. If you're looking for something green and efficient, you are looking in all the wrong places. On the highway, I personally get between 20 and 25 miles per gallon, and I've heard of some people getting up to 30. In the city, though, is really where the fuel mileage hurts. The US government says that these cars get 15 to 16 miles per gallon. As long as gas is cheap, this usually isn't too much of an issue, but come summer when prices rise, the costs can begin to rack up. 3. Lack of modern safety features. While in some ways this can be a pro, in my opinion, when searching for a first car, as many Panther buyers are, this is a con. These cars show their age when it comes to safety. Most don't have traction control, and none have electronic stability control, or a reverse camera, and some don't even have side curtain airbags. Fourth, the cars. Starting with the Ford Crown Victoria. The Crown Victoria name was first used as a model name. Think like Denali with GMC. Though the Crown Vic, as we know it today, has been around since 1998, there are 4 main types of Crown Vic. 1. Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, aka the CVPI, aka the P71 or P7B. The good. These cars have beefed up suspension, skid plates, oil, steering, and transmission coolers, and better torque converters, all of which helps with longevity. Most have a limited slip differential, helping with traction in the mud and snow. The LSD also offers lower rear-end gearing. This gives a better off-the-line acceleration, but can hurt fuel economy. The bad. The interiors are usually in rough shape. They usually have holes and things cut out where police equipment would have been, but has been removed. The paint is usually in rough shape as well, with chips, scratches, and rust. And with all that service duty, the thing to take the most of the damage is usually the transmission. Police are constantly flooring it, which strains the transmission, causing a lot of excess wear and tear. It's not uncommon for these cars to need a rebuild or a whole new transmission once they leave the station. 2. The taxi package, aka the P72. This is the base taxi package, and is usually stayed away from. These cars served a hard life and usually have none of the cool features associated with the CVPI. 3. The Crown Victoria LX. These cars were favored among older drivers, and therefore are usually well taken care of and not beat on like the police interceptors. They also have more creature comforts, like comfy seats, a better stereo, automatic climate control, and softer suspension. Though these cars do lack the rugged nature of the CVPI, which is what some people like. 4. The Crown Victoria LX Sport. This gives you the best of both the CVPI and the civilian Vic, having the heavy-duty suspension and creature comforts. They're easily identifiable with their floor shifter and center console, along with leather bucket seats and sport wheels. They also have shorter rear-end gearing, standard dual exhausts, and the limited slip differential. However, these cars are not very common at all, and decent examples can cost a pretty penny. The Mercury Grand Marquis. These cars are almost identical to the Crown Victoria LX. The main difference being the looks, and some of them did come with heated seats. The Lincoln Town Car. These cars were the pinnacle of luxury back in the day, and even in the 2000s they were seen as high-end luxury cars. These tend to be more luxurious than the above, as well as a bit pricier. Some of these were owned by livery companies, but the rest were owned by fairly well-off older people. Therefore, like the CVLX, they were taken care of very well. You're best to go with one that was owned by an older person, because the ones owned by limo companies tend to have many, many more miles. Since they're a much more distinct car, they also have some of their own custom parts. The seats, for instance, have memory, and to repair them, you must use parts from another Lincoln. Unlike others where many Vic parts will work in a Grand Marquis, and vice versa. These also came standard with rear airbag suspension, which was prone to failure, and can cost quite a bit to repair. And last, but most certainly not least, is the Mercury Marauder. Many consider this to be the holy grail of the Panther body cars, and for good reason. High performance and standard comfort features are what set this apart, such as leather seats, 3.5 limited slip rear gears, dual high-flow exhaust, and the heavy-duty suspension. This is the only Panther car that had a more powerful engine. It had dual overhead cams, which equates to 4 valves per cylinder instead of 2, and is rated at 302 horsepower. However, these cars are typically higher maintenance and get abysmal fuel economy. Being produced only between 2003 and 2004, these are very few and far between, so you better be prepared to pay a good price for these. Since this is a performance car, you might expect that some of these come with a standard transmission, but this is not the case, unfortunately. Fifth and finally, my 2 cents. I personally have had 2 Panther cars, a P71 and a CVLX, and I personally recommend the LX. Unless you have the time, money, and patience to maintain a P71, I would stay clear of them. The added creature comforts in the LX, along with the fact that they usually are well maintained and taken care of, I believe outweighs the cool factor of the P71. That's just me though. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and tell me what kind of Panther you have. Anyways, other than that, that's about all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.